Okay, so good morning, welcome. So the first thing that we do whenever we sit down to meditate is we establish our motivation. So we'll just take a moment now to um, let go of whatever kind of week we've had, whatever kind of morning we've had, just let that go and center ourselves in a compassionate intention. So we can bring to mind um, all other beings that we share this planet with and all of existence with, and um, make the wish that our meditation practice will benefit them. And we can just generate compassion for all beings. So we'll just take a moment to do that. And then we say some opening prayers. So you have a piece of paper in front of you there. You're welcome to say this or not say this, whatever you're comfortable with. But we start by chanting this in Tibetan. You can also read along in English. This is a prayer invoking the blessing of Guru Rinpoche, who is considered the second Buddha. And Guru Rinpoche is also considered to be no different from our own mind. He is the enlightened we are inseparable from him. So it's not something, he's not someone external from us. He's like our own enlightenment, our own enlightened being. Organ yum jansam pemage sardompola yatsen chogi ngorupne pemadung ne jesura Kordu kandro mangpo kor ketki jesu dak drupki jinji lop cheer shek su so Guru Palma City Home Organ Yugi Num Jansam Pemage Sardompola Yatsen Chogi Ngorume Pema Jung Ne Jesudra Kordu Kandro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesu Dak Drupki Jinji Lop Cheer Shek Su So Guru Pama City Home Organ Yugi Num Jansam Pemage Sardompola Yatsen Chogi Ngorume Pema Jung Ne Jesudra Kordu Kandro Mangpo Kor Ketki Jesu Dak Drupki Jinji Lop Cheer Shek Su So Guru Pama City Home. All right. So in this class, we'll be practicing 3 different types of meditation to stabilize our minds and open our hearts. So the first meditation that we'll be doing today is called Shamatha meditation. This is also called calm abiding meditation. And so first, what is meditation? Jetsunma has taught that meditation is the natural state of mind when it is relaxed, stable, and open. And when our mind is calm and settled, there's spaciousness in our mind that gives us time between whatever is going on in our life and our reaction to it. So normally we are just reacting out of habit, and we're kind of stirred up and unsettled, and whatever happens in our life, we just react to it out of habit. And then when we have some spaciousness in our mind, though, we can instead respond instead of reacting. We can actually consider a response and react to it. Are you here for the meditation class? Okay. You're welcome to get, if you'd like a cushion too, you're welcome to sit on cushions. We have cushions here, or there's some cushions right below that donation box right there. Yeah, if you'd like some cushions. So our minds are normally running around wild like monkeys. And so, and when our mind's running around out of control, then the mind is controlling us instead of the other way around. And that's not fun. No one likes it when someone else is in control of them. Like, we want to be in control of ourselves. So meditation allows us to do that. And the mind is like a muscle. So in the same way that we go to the gym and work out to make our muscles strong, we can do the same thing with our mind through meditation. We can train the mind to be calm and relaxed while also being alert and wakeful. And the point of this meditation is to create space in the mind. And that space in the mind helps us to balance our emotions and gives us time between action and reaction, like I said. And then also that spaciousness is the first step in the development of bodhicitta, which is the compassionate wish to free all sentient beings from suffering. So this is a very simple practice. All we do is we rest our attention on the breath. You can also do this meditation with your focus on a flower or a candle or a stone or a picture of the Buddha instead of on your breath. I like using the breath though, because the breath is always with us. So we always can meditate, we have no excuses. So we can take a comfortable seat, either in a chair or cross-legged on the floor, and place your hands in your lap, gently relaxed. You can, traditionally, we hold one hand in the other with the thumbs touching and place the hands with the thumb just below the navel. But you can also just rest your hands on your thighs. And check in with your posture. Make sure your spine is straight. You can imagine a thread going up your spine, out the top of the crown of your head, and just tug on that thread to pull your spine nice and tall. And your shoulders are back. We're sitting with a dignified posture. And your elbows are out a little bit away from your body so that you have room around your rib cage to breathe. It should all feel natural. If you are a sloucher habitually, then it doesn't feel natural, but it should feel like a comfortable, like sitting up straight in a comfortable position. And then your eyes remain open for this meditation. So you can imagine a line following the bridge of your nose and extending down to the floor, and find a point along that line where it's comfortable to rest your gaze. So we're just looking downwards and resting our eyes on a point in space that feels comfortable. And then lastly, place the tip of your tongue right behind your front teeth. It's like saying the letter L. And then allow yourself to relax completely and breathe normally. Just settle into your natural rhythm of breathing. And then put a very light attention on your breath. Don't try to control it at all. Just breathe naturally with the most gossamer thin attention on your breath. It's like taking your pulse. You don't put any pressure on it, just observe it. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. And as you meditate, thoughts will come up, and that's okay. When thoughts come up, just let them go, like bubbles popping on the surface of a pond. Don't even look to see what the thoughts are. Just let them pop. Your meditation is not lost by hearing your thoughts, but by following them down the road. So when you find yourself following a thought, just drop it and return to your breath. Your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. So that's a little warm-up round, and just try meditation. And we're going to try that again now for a little bit longer. So if it's really difficult for you to dismiss your thoughts, you can imagine tongs picking up the thought and dropping it, or you can imagine scissors cutting up the thoughts and discarding them, throwing them away. If you always, once you've let the thought go, come back to the breath. Just come back again and again to the breath. And when we're meditating, our meditation posture really helps us in keeping that our focus. So the ways that we sit up with our straight posture during meditation, that is, you can actually do this practice anywhere. Even if you're not sitting, you could do this practice like in a grocery store or like while you're waiting in line, and that would be fine to do. The most important thing is to just have a straight back and a relaxed body. And that straight posture really helps us to focus. Okay, so I'm going to start the next timer. I'll meditate for a little bit longer. So your attention is like a feather, gently riding on the surface of your breath. Okay, so now that our minds are settled, we're going to do another type of breath meditation called Tonglen. So Tonglen is also called giving and receiving. And this practice is done to develop our compassion and our ability to be present with suffering, whether it's our own suffering or the suffering of others. And this practice trains us to use the energy of loving kindness to open our hearts to suffering and transform it into well-being. So in this practice, we imagine taking the suffering of others into ourselves and sending them our happiness. And this, sometimes people get worried, like, oh, well, if I take other people's suffering into myself, like I'll get sick or something like that. Or they think that, I'm sending happiness to this person, and maybe then they worried it didn't work. So this is a mental exercise. We're not going to harm ourselves by bringing people's suffering into ourselves. It's a mental exercise. But by doing this practice, we gradually cease to diminish, we gradually cease to cherish ourselves over others. So our ego diminishes and we stop putting ourselves above others. And then when we develop a stronger wish to benefit others, and this eventually leads to the ability to help beings with equanimity. So whether they're our friends or our enemies, we can help all beings equally. And when our compassion is that strong, then we really can give beings happiness and relieve them of suffering. So right now we're just building up the muscle of compassion by doing this meditation. So we sit in meditation posture, same as before. And we begin by thinking of one or two beings for whom we easily feel compassion. So this could be your parents or a sibling or a partner, a kid, a pet, a friend, anyone for whom you easily feel compassion, or whose suffering particularly touches you. Someone who just really easy to care for. This could also be someone you don't know. This could be someone you saw, maybe you saw a news story of someone, affected by a natural disaster or a war or something like that, and that's who comes to mind. And so bring this person, one or two beings, just bring them to mind and put yourself in their place and contemplate their suffering, contemplate their misery. Imagine what their experience must be like and give rise to compassion. As you're considering what their experience must be like, and with that compassion in your heart, cultivate the fervent wish to relieve their suffering and secure their happiness. And then bring your attention to your breath and follow the natural rhythm of your breath. As you breathe in, visualize that as you inhale through your nose, you take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. And imagine they become completely free of misery. And as you breathe out, visualize you are sending and they are receiving all of your positive and loving qualities and all conceivable sources of enduring happiness as radiant, pure light, bringing them limitless joy. And if it helps, you might think as you breathe in, may you be free of suffering. And as you breathe out, may you be happy. In, may you be free of suffering. Breathing out, may you be happy. So we're going to do that visualization for a couple minutes. So as we breathe in, take in all of their suffering in the form of black smoke, and they are free of misery. And breathing out, we send them all of our positive and loving qualities, enduring happiness as radiant pure light. Okay, and then we're going to keep going with this visualization. But this time, we're going to visualize one or two people for whom you feel intense anger or aversion towards. So now think of someone who could be someone who's harmed you, could be someone who you just don't understand, or they just really bug you, or someone you know, or someone in the news. It's someone who just you really feel intense anger or aversion towards them. So let's think of who that person is. And this person, just like us, wishes for happiness and wishes not to suffer. So we'll do the same visualization. As we inhale, we take in all of the causes and conditions of their suffering in the form of black smoke. And as we breathe out, we send them all of our happiness, all of our positive and loving qualities, all sources of happiness, bringing them limitless joy. And then we're going to expand this visualization to include all those for whom you have similar feelings of anger or aversion. Let's just widen the lens. All of the people who make you very angry. Breathe in their suffering, and breathing out, send them happiness. So with that meditation, as your meditation deepens, and your heart opens, you can gradually do this practice again and again, and you can gradually increase the scope of your visualization to include larger and larger groups of people, until your loving kindness and compassion just embrace all beings throughout existence. And it's really kind of a meditation. You can do it on your own. You can do it for just, you're having some difficulty with someone, you can just take a minute and just do some Tonglen and think of that person. Or if you've got some time, you can really like spend a lot of time doing this meditation and do, bigger and bigger groups. But now we're going to do one last meditation. This is a guided meditation written by Jetsunma, who's the founder and spiritual director of KPC. This guided meditation is called the Light Expansion Prayer. And just want to read a little something that Jetsunma had said about this. So Jetsunma said, separation is the cause of all trauma, all pain, any grief that you have ever suffered anywhere or at any time. Anything that has ever hurt you or been a bother to you has been because you believe yourself to be separate from everything. Your true nature is absolute union or oneness. The true nature that you are is light. And she said, again, in that same teaching, she said, effective prayer is about imitating that radiance. Through imitation of your true nature, you come to realize your true nature. You stop thinking about separation and you stop buying into judgment and you get out of limitations. Effective prayer is centering into that absolute reality that is the core of what you are. So with this meditation, that's what we'll be doing. So just stay in our meditation posture. Let us become still. Take a deep breath. And let it out slowly. Again. Let us center deep within. Center deep within. Deep within to the presence of the Absolute. And there is radiance. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the physical body. And all of the physical body is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill our beings on all dimensions. And all that we are is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill everyone here. And everyone here on all dimensions is filled with the presence of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this building. And all of this building is filled with the light of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace this nation. And the government of this nation is filled with the radiance of the Absolute. And the people of this nation are one life. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace planet Earth. All nations and all governments are filled with the presence of the Absolute, and there is peace. And the 8 billion are one life, radiant. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to fill this galaxy. All planets, all stars, and all life forms are within the embrace of the Absolute. The presence of the Absolute increases and expands to embrace the universe. All dimensions and all kingdoms are filled with the presence of the Absolute. And in all the universe, there is only one life. Now, as we return our consciousness back to physical form, we continue to embrace all that is and to know union, that we are one. So now at the end of our class, we say dedication prayers. This is on the piece of paper, on the flip side of that piece of paper. So whatever virtue we create through our meditation, at the end of our practice, we give it all away. Don't keep it just for ourselves. Throughout my many lives and until this moment, whatever virtue I have accomplished, including the merit generated by this practice, and all that I will ever attain, this I offer for the welfare of sentient beings. May sickness, war, famine, and suffering be decreased for every being, while their wisdom and compassion increase in this and every future life. May I clearly perceive all experiences to be as insubstantial as the dream fabric of the night, and instantly awaken to perceive the pure wisdom display in the arising of every phenomenon. May I quickly attain enlightenment in order to work ceaselessly for the liberation of all sentient beings. Buddhas and Bodhisattvas altogether, whatever kind of motivation you have, whatever kind of beneficial action, whatever kind of wishing prayers, whatever kind of omniscience, whatever kind of life accomplishment, whatever kind of benevolent power, and whatever kind of immense wisdom you have, similarly I, who have come in the same way to benefit beings, pray to attain these qualities. By this effort, may all sentient beings be free of suffering. May their minds be filled with the nectar of virtue. In this way, may all causes resulting in suffering be extinguished, and only the light of compassion shine throughout all realms. Okay. Well, thank you so much for being here for the class. Thanks.